What up? What up? What's sibbity? What's happening? Welcome to another edition of the Wrap Up, aka Kicking It with the Cousins. Tony on the mic, and joining me as always is my mailman, your mailman. The why the heck is it 90 degrees in September mailman? I'm talking about Oz, the people's mailman. Oz, what's going on, brother?
What is going on, sir? You want to talk about hot? The worst thing is delivering mail in that heat, bro. Luckily, I had a day off today, so I didn't have to suffer through that. Today would have really sucked, but yesterday it was bad. It's hot as hell, man. We got a couple more days. I think there's like 50% chance of showers tomorrow, which even sucks even more, but we'll get through it, bro. We'll get through it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I think the September is the new August.
Yeah.
For some reason, there's been a little flip.
This whole global warming thing, bro. Nobody wants to talk about it. They want to sweep it under the rug. I don't know.
I'll take global warming in like December. I like don't get me like if it's like 70 in December, I'm not gonna be too mad about it.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah. Go to a nice football game, be able to chill in the crowd. Yeah.
Mhm.
Why not?
Yeah, the environmentalists out there might not like that, but I'm just saying, just it is what it is. All right, man. Listen, I'm not gonna pull no punches. You've been a little hot topic, hot button, I guess you could say. The DMs has been you've had the DMs on fire the last 2 weeks. Uh
Yes.
Both good, bad, and different.
Uh-huh.
Even I caught some heat too for we'll get to it. Um, but uh listen, so we had the recap.
Well, wait,
Which
before we get into that, bro,
yeah.
we got to go ahead and announce who won. And we got to give the shout
Oh my
outs.
goodness gracious. Yeah. See, look, I'm so happy to get
Throw me
into
under
this
the
'cause this
bus.
is because I got called out for not throwing you under the bus. So, so listen, the winner of tonight's chat chopping in. Let me see. Ooh, wow, clocking in at 7:02 p.m. all the way from oh man, I love his town in Texas, but I forget what it's called right now off the top of my head. But Papa Jim taking the title tonight.
Papa
He
Jim.
said,
This is his
yeah.
first time, right? I
No,
think.
no,
Has
he's
he won
won before.
before?
He's won before. He's
Early
won.
on, before James started getting crazy
Yeah,
with it.
yeah, yeah. Speaking of, your boy took second place this week. So there you
Not
go.
bad. My boy,
Your boy.
your boy, everybody's boy, Mr. James Luman in the Heezy for Sheezy, representing as he always does. And we get this chat is on fire, bro.
No, I got a lot of comments to catch up on here. Papa Jim said, "Come down here to Texas if you want the heat going to bed." Like
No,
it goes
no,
tomorrow, 108. Ay, 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 ay.
no, thank you.
Let me see. So James says, happy Wednesday night, Card fam. Tony and I hope the week has been good to you so far. Absolutely, sir. Debbie's in the house. What's going on, Debbie?
Debbie.
Sports card therapist checking in. Another guy from Texas, man. We got Texas on lock, man. Blaine Thornton is there. He says elite. Um, this guy's been on fire this week. Kevin, I want to say his name the right way, the way he says it. Kevin, and I always screw it up because
Cormier.
Cormier is I think how he says it, but I could be
We're gonna
wrong.
get into Kevin's comment a little bit later. We definitely highlighted that he slid into my DMs and he
Good
kind of
stuff.
called me out. He's calling me out again.
Yeah, yeah,
Appreciate that, Kevin.
for
We're gonna
sure,
get into it, man.
for
And
sure. He
sports
said,
card therapist, as a representative of Mountain Hobby, it has been agreed upon that Oz is good people. See, appreciate that.
yeah. Well,
No,
Kevin
no hobby.
on the other side, he says, let's see if Mount Hobby has odds reading a hostage statement tonight. Oh boy. Debbie says happy NFL Eve. Absolutely. Actually,
Woo.
yeah, man. I had my Eagles hat on yesterday, but I was like, today I just kind of went.
Man, I was listening to Rob and Ken, Big Ken just talking. I heard some hot takes, baby. Some hot
Hey,
takes.
listen, man. He's drinking that. Rob's drinking that G-Man Kool-Aid, man. Somebody might have poisoned that, but that's another story for another day. Hey, listen, I respect the optimism, right?
Yes, yes. We're all listen. Before the season, everybody has those
Sure.
aspirations to win the Super Bowl. So you can't not because you never know, man. The NFL, you never know. From
No.
year to year, things year to year, things change.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I actually heard a stat today that said the last time the NFC East representative lost in the Super Bowl, I think it's been 50 years since they went back, something like that.
wow.
Like yeah, it's some crazy stat like that. So yeah, it's no easy task, and usually for some reason, and then there was a while there where the Super Bowl loser, whichever side it was, would just fall off the cliff.
Yeah, the
Very
Super
tough
Bowl
to-
hangover.
Yeah, just very tough to get back. A lot of stuff has to fall in place. You got to be healthy. Take advantage of a schedule, whatever it is.
Yeah,
So
long gone are the days of like the Buffalo Bills going like 4 times in a row.
yeah,
They were like that was crazy back in the day.
yeah. And Blaine says he drafted Travis Kelsey with number 1 in 2 leagues, one
Wow.
overall. Wow, that's aggressive there, sir. Um, yeah, I
He'll be
mean,
back.
yeah,
You
he'll be
just
back.
might you
He'll be
might
back.
not have him for the first week.
All right, bro. Hey, listen, nobody wins the fantasy championship in weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4.
There
So
you go.
you got time there. Got time to recoup there, brother. So oh, okay. His first pick, not overall. Gotcha. All right. So like I said, man, let's get into the recap from this week. You kind of had the floor to explain yourself a little bit, a la Miss Lucille Ball. You were you know, gave you expanded more on your take, and like I said, I think I understood where you were coming from when you said it. But you know, we've had comments both ways. So just talking to me a little bit about some of the feedback you got, and kind of we'll go from there.
Yeah, definitely got some feedback, which is pretty cool. When I first said what I said, it was a very short statement. We were just the three of us chatting, the three amigos. Kamish was there as well, and basically just said, "Hey, listen, if I go to your house and I look at your collection, I wanted to be able to see the type of buy the kind of cars that you have. I should be able to tell what kind of person you are, at least who you're a fan of and what you're about." And if you just have the best of the best, a couple goats, and I mentioned the biggest goats. I mentioned
Sure.
Babe Ruth, Gretzky, Will Chamberlain, and I forget who the other one was. I always forget the fourth one. And then I threw in there like a Justin Herbert, but just like cherry picking the best goats, not necessarily being a vintage collector, but the fact that you picked 86 Fleer Michael Jordan, that you picked the best cards. It's almost like you came in with a checklist and be like, okay, what are the best cards in the hobby? How you can go online and you can look up and say, okay,
Yeah.
man, let me just go ahead. Top 10 cards of the hobby. It's like you came in, you got some money. All right, let me go ahead and start checking them off.
Right.
86 Fleer, Gretzky, Babe Ruth, Wilt Chamberlain,
Mhm.
and then on top of that, I kind of like these quarterbacks. So who's the hottest quarterback at the time? Justin Herbert, the golden boy. So you just came in and you did that, not necessarily coming in and showing who you're a fan of. And we always talk about fan being short for fanatic, and when you're a fanatic, like you know me, I'm a fanatic of the Eagles, Michael Jackson. You know who
Sure.
I'm crazy about, and I'll go ahead and I'll get physical representations of those either players, teams, or specific things in order to show how I feel about those teams. So when if I were to go to your home and see that you just picked all these elite cards, which on the surface, nothing wrong with these cards. Everybody wants these cards. That wasn't, it was just me, like I said, coming off the top of the dome. But like if a person just has those, I really don't know who you're a fan of. So yes, my glasses are, I'm being doing my best impersonation. Actually, these are my what I'm trying to do. These are for later.
Yeah,
These are
those are for
my
later.
yeah,
We'll
these
leave
are
that
my
for later.
investigative. These are my
Yeah.
investigative glasses. So, this is gonna break it down a little bit first. I want to get real serious. My Clark Kent's. Um, but basically, by me seeing your collection, I could see what you do. So there was some people that got their feathers ruffled a little bit just because of the cards that I chose. Had I just stayed with, say, for example, all prospects, new quarterbacks, new basketball players, Zion, LaMelo, I don't think there would have been that much backlash. But the fact that I threw in vintage goats kind of like put people like, oh, what are you saying? Like, if I collect vintage goats, I'm a follower. I'm just following the crowd. What are you trying to say? Like vintage people, that collectors, that's normally they have the goats, so that's kind of messed up. You're calling them followers, and I was like, that's not what I meant. And I think this is where Kevin Cormier kind of said I backtracked a little bit. Not that I'm backtracking, but I just wanted to clarify the statement as to when you think of vintage collectors, a lot of vintage collectors that have been out there for a while, most of them from back in the day were set collectors, and it's almost through over time. Obviously, you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna, once you start building these sets, if you start from say 52 or 53 or 55, 56, you know what I mean, you're going to get these goats by default. So you're going to have them. And then with the way that older collectors would do, they would get, depending on, if they want to get say a PSA 1 to start, and then, upgrade as you go on. We talked about the 1933 Gaudi, how our
Mhm.
boy, he's collecting that, and then he's getting them signed by little. He's trying to collect the whole set, but whenever he gets a chance to go ahead and upgrade those cars, he can do so. And that's how a lot of the vintage collectors were. And now it's, you came back and you were like, a lot of what the way vintage used to be collected, it's different now. It's not so much set collecting anymore. It's more like cherry picking. We
Right.
know, Jackie Robinson, and we know the Mickey Mantles, and so on and so forth, Babe Ruth. So more people are taking their money and going ahead and using it not only as, from, okay, if you enjoy historical figures and the love of the game, and really going back in time, you can go ahead and get those people and use your money instead of trying to build a whole set to get those guys. So, I mean, that's that. I mean, it was,
Yeah.
I don't know if I was misunderstood, or just the person or people that heard
Okay.
it, they kind of just were caught off guard when I used the goats,
Sure.
and it kind of, like, caused some stuff. So,
Yeah, well, because you usually don't hear those cars associated with that type of, with the kind of behavior you were trying to describe, or the collecting style. Like I said, it's usually more the flavor of the week guys, the modern, the hot prospects. Think you were kind of getting at that, as opposed to those cars in particular. But I mean, we also had the comment too that sometimes maybe collecting those guys isn't as exciting as far as, or to say, like revealing your personality or your fandom, because like you said, I mean, sometimes you didn't even see these guys play, but maybe they're those cards are, they're financially motivated why you picked them up or whatever.
yeah.
But I understand what you were saying. Now you said there was and I'm not gonna name names, like keep some of this stuff private because it's, we don't know. Like, I mean, you already outed Kevin, so whatever.
Well,
But he kind of, well, I mean,
Kevin just
he
basically, he said, "Bro," he goes, "What? Can't believe you back down. Mount Hobby got to you, huh?" And in my mind, I was like, "Nah." I kind of doubled down. I thought what I was just explaining, because if people just listened to the episode and didn't really catch that, because it hit some people and others not, it just went right by. But the
yeah.
people that it hit, it really hit hard. So I just wanted to go ahead and get a backstory as to why I said what I said, and why people were thinking what they were thinking. And in his mind, he was like, "I don't know. I heard a lot of backtracking from you. That wasn't very Philly of you."
Yeah, and he banged me for like saying that I let you off the hook, and I said, "Well, I can't come on the air and bash Oz every week. I do enough of that in private, so uh, you know, to some extent, I get, but
Yeah,
it's,
he
it's
he
all good.
gave
It's
the
all good.
analogy. He said, like, look, it's like when I used to work in a record store and people would
Oh, that's
say,
a good one.
"Hey, I listen to everything. I like Shania Twain and Sublime." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, you like the two out of our top 5 sellers. Bravo." You know, not special. It's those people, like, again,
I got you.
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with going with the most popular, and doing those types of things. Everybody's going to collect differently, but it really doesn't tell me that much about you, whether you're listening to records or collecting cards. If you, for example, grew up in Philly and all you do is collect Michael Jordan, I know that you were kind of a front runner. That would be like our cousin Los.
Oh, there we
No,
go.
no, being serious, like, because when we talk about community and we talk about fandom, usually the reason why teams are put in every city, for the most part, major league teams, those are to build community. So the people in that
Right.
area, that's their team and that's who they follow. And then you have people, the classic guy that he wants to go ahead and buck the trend, Mr. Anti-disestablishmentarianism, going, opposite to everybody, just to be able to argue code. So for example, if we have shitty teams like the Philly, usually does, we're not winning. That guy's like, "Well, I'm not going to be associated with a loser. I'm not a loser." So now he's going to cherry pick. Okay, I'm a Lakers fan. I'm a Yankees fan. I'm a Cowboys fan. And whatever, whoever's good in hockey.
Right.
And and they'll be that, even though they've never once been to that stadium, or it's just more so to be able to be on the side of the winning team.
I got you.
And I always had to deep down rooted, I hated that. I hated the guy that lived right next to me, but was a Chicago Bulls fan while we're here
Understood.
struggling to be a Sixers fan.
Understood, understood. Uh, so, sports card therapist says, Oz's own family is about to cancel him, and, he said, "Yeah, like how Uncle Joe liked the Lakers." Yeah, F Uncle Joe, right? Gotcha. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, pretty much. Now, you actually, uh, you brought up a topic because, you said about, collecting and what you collect, and so we're both building sets right now,
Mhm.
and you wanted to talk about why we're building them and what exactly drew you to that set and how does it hit you in the feels when putting the whole set together. If you want to go first, go ahead. However you want to do it. Hold on a second. Before we do that, let's
Mr. Cormier.
yeah, he's gonna clarify. He said to clarify my original point to Oz was that I agree with him and great collections weren't necessarily unique collections.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah, yeah,
great
yeah.
in quotes,
Right.
meaning,
Great in
you can
quotes.
have a great collection because you have all the top dogs, but it's not gonna really talk to you or speak about you as a person and have any uniqueness. And that's really what, what we were trying to get at, or what I was trying to get at when
Yeah.
I said
It's
that.
almost like when you're at a show and you see 6 dealers lined up in a row and 5 of the 6 have the same case. They
Yeah.
have the same stuff. I walk right on by most of the time. You're always looking for that showstopper that, they're like, oh, or when you're on Instagram and you're scrolling,
Mhm.
which is the one that's going to make you stop
Yeah.
as opposed to just, the same cars being recycled over and over and over again. Which, by the way, the Crosstown Boys had Wiz on today, Wiz the
Mhm.
Collector, which is really cool episode. If you guys haven't heard that, check it out because the way Wiz operates in the hobby is pretty cool. But he just makes me think of that because I know he operates in that world of the young prospect quarterbacks and things like that. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I wonder if the guys that operate in that world ever get tired of having to deal with the same players over because it's really like just like 5 or 6 guys.
Mhm.
So I'm like, I wonder if that ever, I don't know. I mean, it just depends what the motivation is.
Yeah, as
You know?
time goes on, they change, but for the most part, like the period of time that we're in, it's those, guys that have become anointed.
Yeah.
And whether it's basketball or football, mainly the QBs, and then it was, Zion, LaMelo,
Hmm.
players like that, and Cade Cunningham. Now, you hear that
Right.
name thrown around, and obviously, we got the big boy coming. Wemby is going to be the
Right.
next dude that everybody's going to jump on. So those will be for the next couple years, and a lot of these guys that play that game, they get in it early, they get in these prospects, and they get their top 1% of their cards. You know what I mean? So they're not
Mhm.
buying those, base cards. They're buying cards that can range anywhere from 1,500 to 15,000, sometimes 50,000, and they're flipping those cards. And it's a dangerous game. And I know there was a couple times, when we talked to Wiz, he talked about trading a Joe Burrow for a Davis
Right.
Mills. He had Joe Burrow. He traded to get a Davis Mills, and we were like, "Wait, what? What?"
Yeah. Yeah, I know. By the way, what a difference a year it makes. It did Josh Allen retire from the NFL?
It feels that way, right?
Right, yeah. 'Cause I not a peep, nothing.
It
Wait till
feels
this
that
week when
way.
he wait till this week when he blows up on Monday night.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny because with Josh Allen, you know, 2 years ago he couldn't lose, even though he didn't win. He was just
Right.
he was a hobby darling. And last year, as the season progressed, he kind of started slipping as a quarterback. He got real sloppy with it.
But he's always been sloppy though.
He's been sloppy, but he kinda, like, fixed a lot of that.
Yeah.
Was it Stephon Diggs, right?
Yeah.
He fixed a lot of that when he came over, but towards the end of the year last year, he just couldn't overcome it was I don't know if he was hurt. I think he was hurt, and he was playing with an injury, and, it took him back in his progress, and that really caused, which is weird because a lot of times that doesn't happen with these prospectors, especially if they put that, like Josh Allen, they put a lot of people put a lot of big
Yeah.
money into him. And,
Yeah.
he fell off. He fell off big time in regards to the cards and stuff like that. So in the prospecting, so it's going to be interesting because there's a lot of people out there that are holding on to these cards. Big Ken talks about, listen, I got a couple. Patrick Mahomes cards, and I got Joe Burrows, and this is the price that I wanted at. They might be looking at this comp from 2 years ago, but I
Mhm.
think it's worth more than that, and I'm just not going to give it up. For something in my mind that's $1,000 more,
Yeah.
and I'm just going to go ahead and hold on to it. And that's what a lot of people are doing now with Josh Allen, hoping that he can recapture that magic. And they're a dark horse. They got players, and it's going to be interesting. But when it comes to that prospect game, it's a dangerous game to play. And me and Tony are like, we'll, we'll,
I
we'll
I
we'll
will
stay back.
say, well, before I make my point, Papa Jim's jumping off.
All right,
Thanks for joining us, Papa Jim. We'll catch you. If I was to quote unquote prospect, it would be on those type of players. Josh Allen coming off a quote unquote down year, Joe
right,
Burrow after he got hurt, instead of jumping on guys who haven't even taken a
Sam
professional snap
Howell.
yet.
Yeah,
So, but anyways, talk to me about this set, man. What do you? I mean, you've touched on it, but why that set? What is it about it? Where you at with it? Where you
yeah.
headed?
Us, we've been primarily singles collectors for the longest time, so it's not. It's been a foreign concept as far as set building, set collecting. Um, for me, when I decided to do the 1986 Fleer, it was a couple reasons, but the first thing was the fact one of my very first cards that I purchased. Well, shoot, two of my biggest purchases were 86 Fleer card set. It was the Jordan, and
Right,
we had this conversation way back when we first started, when we decided that we wanted to get on these mics and talk about it, and to become serious players in this game. Is like, dude, who's going to take us seriously? We really don't know what the hell we're talking about. What can we do? We're trying to think, how can we get a little bit of clout in this game that people actually sit down and listen to what we're saying. And in our minds it's like, well, we got to get a banger. We got to get a card that everybody in the hobby sees as that's the card. And of course, there's a lot of iconic cards, but the 86 Fleer Michael Jordan rookie, and that's debatable. It's always been debatable with the star,
sure.
but for the most part, the 86 Fleer Michael Jordan has been considered one of the most iconic cards, period, in the history of sports cards. So we were like, man, we got to make that happen. We got to get that card. And that's when I came across my boy who's been
Right,
collecting for close to 50 years. And he had six of them. And, we were fortunate to purchase one off of him and get it graded. And we've moved on from it since. But that kind of, just seeing that card, that was like the first time where I was really introduced to the 86 Fleer, because back in the day, that wasn't on my radar. It was all the junk wax, the hoops, and 89, 90, and all that, those other cards. So 86 Fleer never came into the picture. And then we always heard about the Jordan rookie, but that was like that
sure.
was in the air, you know what
Right,
I mean? Like, I've never seen it, touched it. So once I actually had it in my hand, and then he was like, dude, I got, like three sets. I got
right.
a banging set, a medium set, and a not so good set. And he's showing me these cards, and I'm just like, drooling, like, damn, that's crazy. And from that point, my other big purchase was the 86 Barkley that I had purchased, thinking it was a Gem Mint 10, but it was
Mhm.
just the auto was a Gem Mint 10. So two of my first big purchases was the Barkley and the Jordan. And then from there, I've always had a soft spot for that particular set. So, going from that, building on it, then it was like, okay, what, obviously I wouldn't be able to get a Gem Mint 10 set. And it's probably going to be impossible for me to get a PSA 9 set. But my thing is, I'm not in a rush. So I'm building it little by little. I'm just going to stay focused. And,
Right.
primarily 1933 Gaudi guy said, if you would have told me 25 years ago that I would have the set that I have, I would have said you're crazy, because it's what is a seven figure
Yeah.
set now that he's in possession of, which is insane. So, you just gotta. I always had my one boss who always used to tell me, he's like, when things would get rough and I'd be like stressing out, and he'd be like, yo, Oz, I'm like, what's up? He's like, listen, how do you eat an elephant? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, how do you eat an elephant? I was like, I don't know. He's like, one bite at a time, just one bite at a time, and eventually you'll be able to eat it. I was like, "That's stupid as hell, but I like it." And that's how, when you start building these sets, one bite at a time, man. You get what you can get, what you can afford. You don't want to overextend yourself because
Mhm.
there's cards in here that we talk about the Jordan sticker and the Jordan, rookie, and then the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and other various ones that are going to take some time for me to get that and build up. But
Mhm.
there's other cards that are like $40, PSA 9. So it's just going to be cool. It's going to be a cool journey just seeing. And that's really what really, and not, and on top of everything, it's the 1986 Fleer. It's one of the most
Right.
iconic sets out there, not only in basketball, but in the hobby period. So that's just something. What about you, man?
Okay. Before I get to mine, I have to address a complaint here.
Okay.
Karen Splenda is here. He's saying, "I'd like to file a complaint. I wasn't informed about a Wednesday live. You'd like to speak to a manager, please." Well, Mr. Splenda, had you had listened to last week's episode, it was announced. So go
Last two,
back.
last actually the
Yeah,
last three
go back,
weeks.
rewind.
Maybe somebody hasn't been listening.
Well, he's been a little busy, and
Okay.
we'll get to that in our next topic. So I'm gonna cut the guy some slack. I
You
know
cut
he
him
was
some
at the
slack.
beach. Then now I mean he's probably he's oh my goodness, man, he's overloaded with hankus. So we'll get to that. Uh
Funky,
and
funky.
yeah, we'll get to that in the next segment. For me, obviously, it is because hold on, let me grab it. I didn't want to turn around while you were talking. But,
That's okay, sir. You go ahead and grab that
got
nice.
this. So obviously, I'm on record. The 1956 Roberto Clemente is my favorite card of his by far,
Mhm.
hands down. Not even close. I love the art. I love the whole thing about it.
So
Um,
better than the rookie.
love it better than the rookie. Love this design. I it kind of bums me out sometimes that this isn't the rookie. I really love this card.
But that's
Um,
kinda dope too, because you got the rookie, which is, iconic in itself, and now you
right,
have this other card that because some people, it's like you get the rookie and that's it. You have
right.
another card that you love just as much, if not more than the rookie.
Yeah. Yeah, I would probably say, don't get me wrong. I mean, that's talking about a watershed moment. You get the rookie, but uh this, like I said, I just love this card, man. It's just so cool, man. The whole the picture, it's just really cool because you got like the advertisement in the back. Because some of the other ones, um, some of the other ones in this set, it's just like a picture of a field or something. So it's really cool to have him making a catch up against the outfield wall.
Mhm.
So and I came to grips with myself, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna build that set. And I went in old school style. I mean, I know you're doing a PSA 9. Mine is, I mean, I've shown this before. I have my binder. I went and got
Mhm.
this insert here on eBay with a nice other insert in the back that's got some of the big boy cards on here. I mean, you have Ernie Banks, Hank Aaron, Sandy Koufax, Roberto, Mickey Mantle, Jackie Robinson, Willie Mays, and Ted Williams. And I'm still little by little, I'm chopping away at it. I picked up a lot a few weeks ago. And this Mickey Mantle though, man, this actually today I saw Kenny G was advertising a PSA 9 that they have. It's going to, and he does this whole
Mhm.
thing with how he shows his these big time items. But between the Mickey Mantle being, his triple crown year, and this is the last Jackie card, 56 Jackie card. It's these are two big boys. Haven't gotten them yet. And I'll get to them at some point. But it's fun. It's really fun building this stuff I mean, there's so much. I mean, I've dug into some of these guys as far as like who they are and what they kind of did. And it amazes me as actually, I was very amazed at how many Latino players are in this set.
Even
More
back
than
then.
I expected it to be honest. I mean, and that's always just kind of in the back of my mind when I'm looking at this stuff because you know, at this point, the integration was all the way in the league. It was fine, but still, I'm like, well, how many guys were actually in the league?
Yeah. Yeah,
You
because
know?
you think in the '50s it was it wasn't the, best time period to be, coming from the Negro leagues or from, you know, the Caribbean,
Yeah, yeah. It was
not even being able to speak English. just imagine
Yeah,
what
so,
they're
like, that's what gets me is, like, how did they get I mean, were there scouts? Where the heck were the scouts at? 'Cause, I mean, these guys are playing were they playing some dirt sand lot in
yeah,
the Caribbean somewhere? It's not like, there was I can't, it really takes me to a different place when I'm looking at these guys and all these dudes. I mean, like, you have a guy here, Jose Santiago, actually from Puerto Rico. There you go.
nice.
Yeah, dude, it's just looking back, and I think it was Rob that said it, like, where he said he's obsessed with the Yankees, and
Mhm.
with his type 1 photo he was talking
Yeah.
about this week, and just picturing back in the day, and you picture this magical time. I mean, it's things were kind of rough back then, but when you think about baseball, you think about this Americana, and it
Mhm.
was all this magical stuff. So that's for me is might sound corny as it is. I've always had an appreciation for history. Used to really love it in school. So yeah, just that's kind of what pushes me to it. But the number one is just because of this being my favorite card. I'm like, you know what? This is my first pick, favorite card. I'm gonna go after the set. So that's where we're at. Let me catch up on.
Orlando dropping
I
dimes.
see that. Let me catch up on some of these comments. Steve says, "Be happy you're being blessed with his presence." So that is fine. That
Thank
is
you,
all
Steve.
good.
Appreciate that.
Orlando checking in from sunny Florida. Steve says, James says, "Let's go, Binder Gang." Yeah, man. Yeah, we have to do some couple segments with some binders, but we'll get to that. We can't use all you can't use all the creative juices right away. We gotta let that stuff marinate. Steve says 86 Flair and 56 tops. You guys are doing it right.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
that,
you.
man. Steve says Oz's glasses make me want to watch Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys. And Orlando says Minnie Minoso was the first Black Latino to play in the majors.
Yeah.
So there you go, man. Little food for thought for you. So yeah, it's fun, man, and I like that I can slow play this. I'm in
Yeah. No
no
rush.
rush at
No,
all.
believe you me. No
Yeah,
rush.
well, yeah, especially where you're at. I mean, like I said, I see you have the Jackie, you have the Jackie, the Willie, and Mickey. It's funny, I know these guys have those kind of names like that.
Yeah.
But,
Jackie, Willie, Mickey.
yeah, Jackie, Willie, and Sandy. Got to
Yeah.
get Sandy too. Ted Williams, I did pick up at the
Teddy.
National. Yeah, Teddy. Yeah, no. Anyways, Bobby,
Yeah.
and then you got Hank. He can be Hanky.
Hanky.
I guess. So
Hanky.
that look at
Speaking of
that.
Hanky. No.
Yeah. So speaking of Hanky, see that I'm getting good at this transition
There you
game,
go.
man. So will Michael Robinson have prism cards?
Huh.
I don't know. Good question there. I don't know.
Are we talking about Michael Robinson from Penn State?
That's who pops into my head when I hear Michael Robinson. So I don't know. It could be somebody else. So Brendan, let us know if that's who you're talking about or not. Um. All right. So this has been beat to death, but we wanted to at least touch on it a little
Oh, you
bit.
got to. You can't just, I mean,
Yeah,
there's
we
just
can't just
even more.
ignore it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
even more stuff that came out today. It's like,
yeah. I mean, this is like the biggest hobby soap opera since probably the last biggest hobby soap opera. But yeah. And Stuke says Martin Diego.
yes,
That's another legend out there. We've actually our buddy.
he's a Cuban
Yeah,
player, right?
yep. Our buddy Hiraldo. He does stuff. He does work with the Martin Diego Foundation.
Yes.
So very aware of him being a really good player. Uh, all right, man. So again, this whole car porn thing, it's like as the world turns. I'm not gonna act like I'm all up on this because it's just little dribs and drabs. If this is your thing, man, check out Splenda's boy AIH, Dan the Card Man, all those guys. They've been on this since day one, and
Darren Ravel.
yeah, yeah. So,
Go straight to
anyways,
the, go straight to the horse's mouth. Like,
yeah. So Darren Ravel comes out with the article today, just kind of putting uh how do I say, like just like talking about events that led up to where
yeah,
we're at today. Bad deals gone bad, all this crap, blah 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 blah. I mean, it has it all. But you, sir, wanted to talk about just a little bit of besides all the craziness that's going on, just how we as a hobby community can probably help out a little bit or
Yeah.
something like that. So,
Yeah,
floor's yours,
it's
sir.
almost weird, and I don't know if it's just me, but I get like this little. Sometimes I got a little spidey sense going on. Shout out to ripping and flipping cars. Thank you for joining us. And Penn State did look pretty good. Young boy looking good. Um, but with the spidey sense that I get, I think there's a lot of people out there that know more than what they're letting on. And we got, it's like you have one guy, you have this Juan Garcia, aka John Garcia, aka Jonathan Garcia, aka Jonathan Gilbert Gottfried, whatever the hell he wants to call himself at whatever point in time. And we're pinning it on him. So it's like, okay, Juan card porn, it's just him, and he's done all these nefarious deeds. And we got him now. We got to try to, he's ghosted. He's everything that he's had. He's just gotten rid of everything, even his WhatsApp. And who knows where this guy's at. Um, and that's it. It's like, okay, it's a pretty you could put it in, tie a little pretty bow on it. We know Juan Garcia is the bad guy. He's the car porn guy. And I think there's tentacles that are coming out of this, bro. And just reading some stuff, some comments, shout out to Peter Pack, man. He kind of was alluding to some facts about it's not just him, and it's bigger than that. What that means, sheesh, I don't know, but I know the GC he's putting out there. He puts out his nice little uh where he has some type of stuff, his content, and he'll have like a movie clip, and it's like you can't trust nobody. You know what I mean? In the hobby, you just can't trust anybody now. You know what I mean? You don't know. You're looking at somebody's side of like, do you know what's going on? Um, and it sucks that we kind of we're there now. We've all come back into this hobby. A lot of us we left for a while, come back as adults with some money, and it's a cool place to be. We're building a community. We're talking about it every week, and the fact that we have to deal with this kind of crap, and it not just be, like I talked about, like a nice little bow, and we could just go ahead and carpet, compartmentalize it into one little thing and keep it as Juan Garcia. When I don't think, what I mean, again, that's just me. That's my little spidey sense. I don't think it's just one person. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that what was your thing last year? The tight sphincters?
Yeah,
I think that, I just if it is one guy, that's a hell of a way to go. I mean, that's a hell of an operation.
yeah.
I just think that there are a lot of people who know a lot of things, and maybe it's not their place to say right now. But if you know where this guy is or what he was doing, and you're just turning a blind eye, not so good. Um, we've seen in the past how that you're just as guilty, if not more, than the guy. Um, that has all this craziness going on, but it's just it's messed up, man. A lot of people. Who knows how far this goes? I mean, the fact that this is big time money, the money is the least of the thing. But I mean, there's
Yeah.
again, like you said, there's tentacles. But I really do think that there are some people in high places, be it in the hobby, be it in content creation, be it wherever it is. Um, it's this thing is a conglomerate, man. It's not just one dude, and there are
Where
people.
there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah, I guarantee, bro. I don't know much, but I don't know. Like, I just guarantee that there are people out there that know a lot and just being like
They're just, yeah.
trying to hide in
If
the
I don't
bushes.
say anything, hopefully, you just,
That's all.
it's like almost like you do some dirt, and what you did was wrong, and you're hoping and praying that your mom doesn't find out, but too many people out there know that you did it, and it's going to get back to her eventually, and when it does, you're going to get your ass whooped. And that's a situation where I think a lot of people are finding themselves in. And again, we could be wrong. We could be totally wrong. It could just be this guy, and he could just be a jerk, and he could have just been a scammer. And he scammed a lot of people. I believe I read in the article he gave about 135 to $150,000 worth of memorabilia and cars that he put through, Golden auctions and stuff like that. Golden went back and said, everything that he gave me was double certified. We didn't sell anything that wasn't, legit. but they just sold a jersey for 1.2 million that was supposedly legit. So that's the crazy thing about this hobby, dude. It's like we put a lot of faith.
That's what I was about to say. It puts everything into question. It puts even like even these little things like this.
Yeah,
You know, it really does, and it's a shame that you have it really just undermines the whole it just how do I say it? Like you really gotta be then you're like, man, you know what? I'm gonna turn all this stuff off and just collect for the love of collecting.
yeah,
It's really but we all want we all to some extent want these things to be worth
yeah,
something one day. Like
yeah. Deep
I
down
always say, let's
inside, we
be honest,
can't
right?
just like act like
Yeah,
we don't want to be that. When you're a kid, you always want to go for that good rookie. You want to get that
yeah,
rookie card, not only because that's the best player, but that's going to be worth the most amount of money. And that's
right,
the card. If I have his rookie card, 20 years from now, this thing will be it's $500 now. It'll be $100,000, 150,000, $1 million, depending on how good this person was, if they're a generational player. And that's how you get into the hobby as a little kid. You see dollar signs, and then when you come back and you come back in the middle of the pandemic and everything's going through the roof, you're like, oh my god, I remember this hobby. This is cool. Let me get
right,
some of these cards and start making some money. And then when you realize, okay, I'm not going to be a millionaire overnight, then you're like, okay, let me reevaluate the whole situation, what I want to do here. And that's when you kind of go to the whole, let me, collect what you like, collect what you love. And you start getting a little bit deeper as to, the nostalgic purposes and, everything that hits you in the feels. And then when you have something like this, if you're putting big money into, if I'm building a PSA 9, set, and everything comes into the question, and then it's like, why am I spending all this money for a goddamn number when 2-3 years from now they'll be like, oh yeah, PSA, they went downhill and it all went to AI. So anything that was in
right.
the PSA slab now is kind of worthless because it was all subjective. So that's doom and gloom. We try not to think that way. We always try to stay positive, and we're going to go ahead and maintain that. But every once in a while, you get hit with one of these stories, and it being card porn, and and cardboard was Steve
Mhm.
Splendor. We can all agree it's James Harden's fault. I agree totally. That guy,
Listen,
he ruins everything.
I had my day in the sun with James Harden from day one. I told Mr. Sports Card Grocery from back. I said, dude, this guy, you are who you are. He is a cancer. I'm sorry. And you turn a blind eye because he makes a three. He plays, but all the while he's just undermining the team and is whatever. That's the story for another day. But Steve actually makes up a good point here. He says, it opens up a lot of things as far as questioning anything he was a part of and affiliated with.
Yeah.
So sure. Um, again, my thing is I could be wrong, but I feel that there's people who know, and maybe they are, behind the scenes. We're not privy to all that stuff, but it's not right, man. It's just it's some
Yeah, ripping and flipping cars. He's like, didn't PSA start with a card that became the thing that pushed them over the edge? And then it turns out it was a bad card. Yeah,
right
that was the T206. That
onus.
was actually, yeah, Honus Wagner that was trimmed. And that was the first card. So the very first card that PSA graded was a trim card. And I forget what they had graded. Was it an 8 or 7 or 8?
I forget what it
Yeah,
was,
whatever
but
it was, but it was like one of the best copies of the Honus Wagner, and that kind of put them into the forefront and pushed them, that, and then, they developed the PSA registry, and
right,
that kind of got everybody. And, a couple months later, here we are.
yeah,
And
but
yes, ripping and flipping cars. Greed is a powerful drug. That's one thing we've always spoken about, greed. If you go back to our earlier episodes, people will do anything and everything, for greed and money. And unfortunately, that's the underbelly of this hobby, bro. It's the
yeah,
money, you know?
yeah, because like you got, I mean, Rob and Ken just came off of doing a live right before us, and they're talking about going to the shows and how they're prepping to go to the shows, and Ken's plan of attack and all that stuff. And all the while, you have this nasty underbelly going.
Yeah,
And it's like, man, it undermines everything that's really going on there. You have some people, again, who are just spending time with their kid. They take their son or daughter out, whatever, on a Saturday, and they like, oh, come on, we're going to spend a couple bucks and whatever. And then you just got all this stuff going on. And it's a bad look, man. Just, I don't know. It just again, it brings into question a lot of things. Because this guy was pretty well connected, man, hanging with
Very
some
well
big
connected.
names. You know,
Very
it
well
wasn't like he
connected,
was
and
just
you heard about him, but he that was another guy, like, you asked me, like, "Who the hell is car porn?" I'm like, "Dude, I think it's, I heard it's some Spanish guy, some guy Juan, John." I said, "I don't know."
Are
But
we
he was just
related to him?
he might be, I mean, maybe my cousin, I don't even know, but I ain't getting none of that money, so Imma sell his ass out. He didn't give me nothing. But,
Yeah.
and then on top of that, I'm like, "Bro, if this is the case, we got this guy Juan Garcia of everybody, now they got the Spanish guy gotta be the downfall of the freaking hobby." Of course, blame it on the Spanish guy, it's like, Jesus.
That's funny. That's funny. Brendan Ryan says, hobby watchdogs are self-appointed until vetted. Any ideas on how to form a consensus around hobby watchdogs?
Ooh, that's a good
I don't know,
wow.
bro. That sounds like a question for Splenda and the boys.
Yeah, because like you said, they are self-appointed, and car porn was that self-appointed watchdog. It was even in their title,
True.
hobby watchdog. And meanwhile, you know, this dude,
He's
he's out
watching.
here, trading a fake BBCE 86 Fleer set, for $135,000 worth of real cards. And
The
the guy,
creativity of these dudes, though, man. My man was taking rappers and
yeah, oh, that's insane, bro.
that's crazy. So listen, man. I mean, again, if you know something and you're holding it back, don't be that dude. I mean, just put it out there, contact whoever needs to be contacted, and let's hopefully just build
For
a
the
better.
good of the realm,
There
sir.
you go. Yeah, man, for the good of the realm. All right, we got two more. The, you want to do card of the week next and leave the funny one for later?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll do card of
Okay.
the week.
All right, let's do card of the week. You have something there?
Yeah, I got three,
Okay.
but they're all tied in together, so it's nothing. But this is, getting back to the '86 Fleer, and these three cars were the first ones. So we have number one was the 1986 Fleer Charles Barkley, and that's the one that on card auto that he signed, in person auto, the Gem Mint 10 auto, and this was my first big purchase that I made in the hobby. So this means a lot to me, with Sir Charles being, before AI, there was Sir Charles being a Sixers
Right.
fan. And then you go back even further, before Sir Charles, it was the Doc, Julius Irving. So got that in the PSA 9 along with his sticker. So
Ooh,
these three cards, not only are they part of this iconic set, but they mean a lot to me because this just brings me back to my childhood. These three guys, Dr. J, and Charles Barkley. That 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 was a golden era of basketball for the Sixers. And even watching Winning Time again,
right.
with the Lakers, and they have that spot where they bring in Dr. J, who looks like a complete goof in the thing. I was like, how the hell did they cast this guy as Dr. J? You know what I mean? But
Hey, it's tough to replicate that
yeah, I mean,
smooth.
like, to me, like, Dr. J is just the epitome of cool
Yeah,
and like sophistication. And he walked into this room and he was dressed to the nines and just like cool as shit. Like,
yeah,
can't touch me, Dr. J, baby. Mike, when Michael came into the league, he was emulating Dr. J.
it's true. That is true. I will say mine are in honor of football kicking off. These are actually two gifts from our buddy the commish. First one, these are newer cards, but still, so it's always cool to anytime like we said, anytime you get a card, it's cool, good stuff. This is 2019 Don Russ football.
Oh,
My guy Randall Cunningham there.
another
Um,
goat,
yeah, there you go, another Philly goat. So got
the
that.
ultimate weapon.
There you go. I know. I got to get that Sports Illustrated.
Yeah,
The other one is what's this? 2017 Panini, and it's another. So I got Randall in the white uniform.
nice.
Actually, you know what? This is in honor of the Kelly Green uniforms coming back this year. So I got Randall in the white, and then Randall in the Kelly Green.
Mm-mm.
So
Dude, I
just
can't wait. I know nobody cares, but for Philadelphia to see the Kelly Green back again, that is huge.
yeah, big time. I mean, I never jumped off the the band that you can see my Kelly Green stuff I got hanging over here.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's always grew up on those uniforms. Love them. They won't be permanent. They're like kind of those one of those alternate things that they got going on. But it's nice to see that back, man. And I know I know the consent, not the souvenir stands and all that stuff. They really, really like it because people are buying that stuff up left
Oh
and
man.
right. Like it's going out of style. I'm like, that's been around forever. But there you go, little Kelly Green action there. So those are the cards of the week for this week. And finally, we're gonna wrap up with, yeah, man, you've been trying to get this thing on the air for weeks now. So let's finally, yeah. And I'm glad like Splenda's around and Brendan and all these guys. The question is on Instagram, what is a worse follow? Oh my God. A, the porn chick soliciting you. B, the logo creator. Or C, the guy with one post saying legit in all caps.
So, not for nothing, but I always get excited. I get that hit of dopamine when I see, oh, somebody just followed you. I was like, oh, cool. I got a new follower. Excellent. So then you go see, who it is, and you're trying to, make sure it's like it's a legit card account. And then you open it up and it's that, the lady of the night propositioning you to go ahead and, go onto her page and what is that, OnlyFans?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's a worthless, delete. Psh.
Yeah.
Or it's the the person that's all logos. You click on their page and then it's all logos, and they're just trying to sell you a logo. So that's a worthless follow. They're not really interested in what you're doing. They just want to try to sell you a logo,
Right.
Or it's the worst part is when you go ahead and you click on it, you see it's a card account, but then they have one post and the only post is in all caps, legit. So they're not legit. And then you'll get the same thing like 3 different times. It always happens in bunches. It's like it's a bot that's sending you all these
Yeah.
things that try to go ahead and scam your ass, and it'll send the same thing, and it's like, man, those are worthless follows.
Yeah. For me, it's definitely yeah, actually 3 guys, and it's definitely the porn chick. Because that's a total waste. I'm like, this is like
I
this.
mean,
First of all, you're not real. It's not real. It's some dude in his basement
it's
eating
not a
Cheetos.
it's not a total waste.
No, it's a total waste because it's fugazi, bro. It's
I mean,
it's fake.
you're not gonna go. I'm just saying, there's some that are pretty.
Yeah, but it's fake though.
Yeah, I
It's
know it's
not.
fake. I'm just
Yeah,
saying
so
they're
like
nice
you
to look
instantly
at for
know.
like 2 seconds, and you delete them.
Yeah, but I'm saying, and even probably the logo one is too to some. But at least there's something there for the logo one,
The logo,
and
I
then
mean,
the
they're real people. They're just trying to get your business,
yeah,
they're trying to
yeah, but
solicit
yeah,
you.
for me, it's definitely the porn chick. Let's see. Brendan says, avoid the ladies of the night. Steve says the porn accounts are the worst. No one wants to pay for your OnlyFans when there are cardboard pictures of men to buy. So, oh, look who showed up. This guy. This guy loves showing up
Yeah,
with
he makes
three
sure he
minutes
shows
left
up
in
at
the show.
9:59.
Yeah, yeah, it's always good. He says Oz is trying to act like he doesn't know what OnlyFans is. He has that on every night. Don't speak for Oz, Splenda. Oz clicks the link. There you go. Brendan says Steve needs some more bench warmer cards. Yeah, so there you go. But yeah, dude, by far that is the for me is the porn chick because, like
Porn
I said,
chick.
it's
Nah,
just
to me, it's the phony card account that says legit. That's the worst one. One post, no cards, legit. Like, dude,
yeah,
get out
but
of here. If
I
you would,
find that one to
you
be
might as
so
well just put
ridiculous.
scam.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I just like the porn chick and the legit guy. I find them to be so ridiculous that it's just like, whatever. But all right, man. So before we end, give me your Super Bowl prediction.
Oh, we're going there.
Yeah,
We're
man.
going there already.
Yeah, I mean, because this is gonna air. Well, it's out now, and then we're still gonna release these on Friday mornings.
Yeah.
We'll keep the regular rotation as far as when the podcasts come out. But what do you got, man?
You know what? Chalk, baby. We running it back. I want revenge. I want the
Ooh.
Eagles, and I want Kansas City. And this time we're gonna play on a real field. And we're gonna go ahead and have our footing, and we're gonna whoop that ass. Patrick Mahomes, sorry, bro, not this year. It's gonna be Jalen Hurts, gonna be MVP. We gonna make it happen. And that's not me being a homer. I'm just spitting facts,
Oh
bro.
no, never, 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 never. Um, I'm gonna say Eagles Dolphins.
Eagles, Dolphins.
Just
Wow,
something, just
Dolphins.
something, just something. Off the hook. I think that
That's chalk, Manny.
yeah,
Best two
man,
teams in the league.
man, he's silly. But yeah, I mean, listen, if we pick anybody else, we'd be, you know, wouldn't work out too well. So that's all I got for tonight. We won't we won't change our name to Cousins Porn. Um, Listen, bro, like what do you want me to say, Manny? Freaking like everybody's gonna say the same thing. Yeah, the Dolphins actually do have a good team. They have a very good team. So long as Tua can stay healthy, and you never know. I mean that AFC East, everybody's on the Jets and the Bills, and they're just kind of just hanging out. So you never know, man. You
I,
never
I
know.
I love the whole like Aaron Rodgers, like every year, no matter what, he's winning the Super Bowl, or at least he has a chance to, but
Yeah.
never gets there except for the one time. So you want to talk about somebody that has had that career that should have won. He should have had a career like Patrick Mahomes, but he
Yeah,
he
which
only
is
had
tough, man.
one. But every year oh, throw him on the Jets. Oh, right away, their contenders are gonna win it. Like I like Aaron Rodgers. He's great. He's one of the greatest. But it's like when it comes time to it, 9 times out of 10, he ain't gonna finish, bro.
Yeah, yeah. All right, man. You want a real picnic? This man, he's silly, man. Like because like I said, that's how the NFL is. Like you always get one team. Like last year was the Eagles out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like you always get one team that just comes out of nowhere. So again, just thinking outside the box. I could just say the same thing that everybody else does. It's Eagles, Chiefs, or 49ers, Bills. So Aaron Rodgers versus Dan Marino. Dan Marino all day. Dan Marino
Ooh,
was.
that's a good
I
one.
know that Aaron Rodgers has the.
Huh.
Actually, I think Joe Montana was quoted recently as saying Dan Marino is his. He thinks Dan Marino is the best QB of all time.
Really?
Bro, Dan Marino is putting up 5,000 yards when nobody was putting up 5,000 yards.
Yeah, yeah, no. I
He
mean,
would put up 8,000 yards now. So, but you thought
it's
Nick Foles was Philly goat? Oh yeah, bro. Nick Foles is. We got a lot of them. You know what I mean?
Nick Foles is a Philly god, bro.
We have a farm of them.
BDN. If y'all don't know what that means, look it up.
There you go.
BDN.
Yeah, like see, Orlando knows what he's talking about. Marino changed the game, man. Yeah, I mean, you do cannon of an arm, release, all that good stuff. Listen, man, you mentioned football. This is why, dude. This is why we moved the show to Wednesdays because football, like the chat on fire. We just,
Yeah.
I don't think any other sport really like gets people going like that, man. Because like it's just because you got to, baseball, basketball, hockey. It's every night. It's a marathon. While football it is a marathon, but it feels like a sprint as well, because
Yeah.
it's like if you
There's
get
only
off to a
so
rough.
many games. It's once a week.
Yeah,
And man, I'm
I
ready
mean,
for some football. I'm ready for some football,
absolutely,
baby.
boy. Listen, I got the smoker ready. That's my Sunday thing. Just it's on, it's on. So good luck to everybody's teams except for Manny. And make
Cowgirls in the house.
for sure. Look at that.
I'm gonna
He
be
said
seeing a
we don't
lot of
like him.
this.
There you go.
Woo!
There you go. So, odds without further ado, take us home, sir.
Another excellent episode, sir. Appreciate you, Tony, coming through once again. Everybody in the chat, always love everything that's going on. Manny, thank you for joining us last second. Stooks, Mr.
Oh yeah.
Orlando,
No, that's just
Rob.
that before you
Go ahead.
Saturday too. I mean, for me, it
Yeah,
starts from Thursday. You got Thursday pros, Thursday college. Friday, I'll sit and watch some high school stuff. It's nice that the games are on YouTube now. So
dude.
yeah,
Right
man. I
now, the
mean,
only was it Tuesday and Wednesday?
basically, yeah, Tuesday and Wednesday. Every other night. I mean, the wife knows my mistress is back. Says she comes, my mistress shows up between September and all the way into January. So it's all good, man.
Beautiful, beautiful. I like myself and Rob's. Both our wives are huge NFL fans as far as when it comes to sports. So it's pretty good with me. She's always there watching football with me. So can't complain once football season rolls around. She's gonna be right there, right right next to me, my road dog. So
Nice.
we're gonna have some fun. It's gonna be interesting to see what's cracking. And for everybody that showed up, thank you for the support. We love you guys. And we're gonna end this, Tony, like we always do. I got my glasses on, and I'm gonna say this very professionally, and that is keep focused, please keep positive, and keep collecting. Tony, could you please bring the beat back, sir?